Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Coil Raiden, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. This is the second most voted for vehicle this week, coming in with 14 votes. That's right, we're right back in with the vehicles that you have voted for. You can vote for the vehicles that you want to see by clicking on the link in the description down below. Just a form of all the cars I own in GTA Online. On the very bottom, there's an other option for anything you don't see listed but would like to see tested. I'll do my best to make those happen. Vote as often as you want. People rig votes all the time, and I'm fine with that. So, the Coil Raiden, a car most people completely forgot about. I think this came out with Doomsday Heist. Could be wrong. There's been so many DLCs and stuff for me to keep track of which one came out with which, but you never see these anywhere. I like it though. It's a good car and it's pretty quick. It handles all right. It does suffer from the traditional all-wheel drive understeer. As we can see there, it just wouldn't turn in for that corner, and then of course when I corrected it didn't turn in enough to make the little climb here. Honestly, that probably cost it. I decided to leave that in because it was actually characteristic of the car that caused that problem. I mean, yeah, I probably should have saw it coming and done a little bit in the corner, but that's what happens when you're off-roading. There's a lot of times when you go unexpected off-roading. But the Raiden is a good car overall, though. A little bit of understeer. It is a car that you can do a burnout with both the front and the rear tires. Kind of fun, but not at the same time. Yeah. It's also, one that you can uniquely parallel park with those two different burnouts. And it's climbing the mountain without much issue. Aside from the understeer, and then once it does finally get going in a direction, especially if you're accelerating, it really wants to kick off in that one direction really hard. So you'll see a lot of times that I have to then correct the steering because I'm going too far in one direction. So it's a little iffy sometimes. The same thing happens with this car, even on surface streets. It's just weird like that. But look at that. We're nearly up the mountain, and we just now passed the 2-minute mark. We also passed those two hikers. I wasn't going to really pass them. They're both done. I can still hear one of them falling down the hill, like the thud, the thud, the thud. I don't know if it'll come through or not, though, in the video. But this could be a really good time. And like I said, I'm kind of disappointed that we had that mishap right as we began the climb, because this could have been a really, really good time without that. I mean, that probably cost us 4 or 5 seconds back there. But it climbs right up the side there and is finally up 2 minutes, 49 seconds. Will the Raiden off-road? Absolutely. That time is good for 3rd place in sports. And, 20th overall in everything that we have tested, which is 170 some odd vehicles. So not bad at all. Nearly top 10%. But that brings us to our controlled descent. And there's not too many issues to really worry about with the Raiden and off-roading. Your main thing is if you really decide to go off-roading with the Raiden, which, again, why would you? Because you probably don't own one, because no one does. Is your ground clearance. So if you have any rocks or anything like that, that's going to be a big issue. Other than that, water, since it doesn't have a very big ride height as well, that's going to be an issue for you. Though it is a battery car. How do they do in water? About the same, I think. Anyway, I don't really do too much water when I off-road. I tend to try to just stick it to rocks and mountains. I think I've been up and down just about every hill there is in GTA Online, without exaggeration. Like, I know my way around all the different hills probably just as well as the rest of the map, the streets and everything, and where they connect. Does all right in the jumps. That was a nice drama-free landing. Able to carry some speed actually through the corners in the dirt, which is good. Actually, not a lot of cars can accomplish that, so a little front heavy there, and had a little bit of a kickback that was a little bit wild there. Go just a little bit slower, though, and that probably wouldn't happen. Again, though, that was a beautiful landing. That one was just nice and composed. The front end did dip down a little bit, but not too bad. And then our final big jump there, I was trying to get the back end to come down, maybe pushed it down a little too far. And now I'm just trying to see how much speed I can get through that little bit of dirt, which is to say not much, because the back end was all over the place. How many of these wheel and off-road videos have I done? I don't know. I need to look at the playlist to make sure that it's accurate. And I have 170 vehicles here, and then about 22, I think, in wheel and off-road in the snow. I used to do 3 vehicles per video, so it's hard to say exactly how many there is. Oh, ow! That was one nice takedown there. I hit him in the head, I think. I'm not sure. But it didn't give me one level, so I'm not going to be able to stay down here at the bottom too long. I'm going to have to head right back up the mountain. I didn't end up seeing a cop, though, the whole time. We're down 2 minutes, 33 seconds. I immediately after this little scene ended, drove right back up. Because, of course, we need to be here anyway for our damage descent, where we take a look and see what type of damage it can withstand. Some cars actually do blow up on this, even with armor. The Deviant is the one I'm thinking of. I've tested it for wood off-road, and it blew up every time I did the damage descent, even with 100% armor on it. Oh, there went a bumper, I think. Yeah, front bumper. So in the Deviant, we had those weird problems. So I'm waiting until it comes out. I didn't release that video because I just want to see if there's something maybe with the mod that I was using that was causing the armor not to kick in on that particular car. Anyway, sorry if I sound a little bit quiet and muted today. I am not feeling the best when I'm recording this voiceover, and I'm at the last day possible to get this done. So I need to get it done, get it uploaded, so that hopefully, if YouTube ever processes it, it will be available on a Monday for once, instead of like at 11:45 p.m. on a Monday, just getting it out there by a technicality. Tried to get the jump in there, failed by hitting the tree as the train rumbles overhead. This car is getting quite beat up, but hey, nice jump over that tunnel instead of through it. But it's shed quite a few body panels. It is bouncing around a lot down here in the bumpy, muddy bits, which makes it a bit hard to control. But nice kick off the wood pile there. Kind of overshot things a little bit. We are finally down 1 minute, 43 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage on the Raiden as the car hits it. All lights, most of the windows are gone. The front bumper, hood, right rear door also gone. Doors and trunk won't close. Does have bent wheels, and there is some minor body damage. And that's going to bring us to our next vehicle, the Benefactor Terrorbyte. This is the vehicle that received the most votes this week, with 17, beating out the Raiden by 3 votes for that top spot. Again, don't forget to go vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in Will It Off-Road. Just click the link in the description down below. I love to get vehicles with a lot of votes. Currently, for next week, we are looking at the Pfister Comet Safari and a plane, like an airplane with a propeller. Yeah, seriously, it's way up there at the top of the list. So, by the way, you can also check to see which vehicles have been voted for already. There's another link in the description down below that talks about the results for Wood Off-Road, where I have a little spreadsheet with all the times, and you can see where things come overall or by class. There's 2 different tabs at the bottom that you can look at and see which is which. There's also a tab, though, that features the current voting standings. It's usually accurate unless somebody enters in something that I don't own. They write something in. And then those don't start showing up until I actually update the little spreadsheet itself, the part you don't see, where the results are. With the Terrorbyte, I'm not really worried too much. Yeah, it's big, but it has plenty of power. The only thing that concerns me, I'm not worried about it getting stuck here on these steep bits like most vehicles do. And as you can see, I'm right to not really worry. Yeah, it bogs down a little bit, but it shifts down and goes. This is really well put together for a commercial vehicle. Well, good timing there. I was checking to see what class it was in. I couldn't remember. And then it popped up. But this is where we start running into problems, and this is where I was concerned. There's a couple things that the Terrorbyte has working against it, and both of them are outside of the wheelbase. There is quite a bit of overhang behind those rear wheels, and there's a lot more than you'd realize in front of the front wheels because of the way that front bumper is. And it makes it get high-centered. It makes those parts get stuck on something. Of course, here, this was user error, operator error, driver issues, whatever. I went a little too far to the left, so when I did start spinning, I didn't have anywhere to go. I should have stayed a little bit more to the right. Man, this thing has weird physics, the way it's tumbling. Just really, really strange. What I'm going to do is speed up the footage here, just to the point where I get the Terrorbyte back up onto the path. I mean, overall, this was an 11-minute run. I figured it'd be best to try to cut it down a little bit. No, don't worry, I haven't spoiled anything by telling you that 11 minutes. Trust me. There's a lot to still see here. Anyway, yeah, struggling to get this thing turned around. Of course, then the train showed up, so I had to be careful not to hit the train. And gonna make my way all the way right back up. Now, I did have a little bit of issue with the tree, but I also had a little bit of an issue in this section. I just didn't carry as much speed, so it did get stuck. The wheels started spinning, but it was as easy as just backing up and just giving it a try. I just had to back up a little bit and give it a run, and then boom, right up. So again, these type of problems, or these type of places, aren't an issue. There, I thought maybe if I just had speed and just kind of ramped my way over, that we would be okay. And as you can see, that just sitting kicked off the side there. So I'm going to go a little bit slower, trying to do a burnout to get it lined up, and we have slowed time back down, because what it's going to require is getting it to bump up just the right time, and there it is. It just had to, I had to get it to kind of catch at just the right place at the right time to get it to kind of kick the whole truck up and over that really weird crease in the terrain back there. So we have one other concern I haven't talked about, and that's the length of this vehicle. Yeah, it has a massive wheelbase, and of course, with those two overhangs, there is just a lot here to deal with. And this path has some really tight turns and little bits to navigate. We run into a little bit of a problem again here because of that length. Like, you can hear it. Well, if I wasn't talking, you could probably hear it. But you can hear that back end scraping along the dirt. And that's what killed it right there. You can't go too fast because you have a turn. Actually, several turns right here. And you won't have enough grip to make those turns in the dirt. But if you don't go fast enough, you're not going to be able to drag that back in past that section where it is stuck on the dirt. So that was a bit of a challenge. So we're going to speed this up, and we're only cutting about a minute out, bringing it down to about 18 seconds. But there's no point in watching it go over and over and over again. Just because, you know, seriously, what is the point of watching it try and try and try? And I know that usually in Willet Off-Road, we do 3 attempts, and then a vehicle is done with a section, and we call it a DNF. But I was really convinced I could get the Terrorbyte to the top of the mountain. That 3-try rule is usually good because it indicates the reality of a vehicle. If it can't make it after 3, it's probably not going to make it. But with the Terrorbyte, it's so weird and quirky that there's a lot that could happen that could go differently each time. But here is a really tight, narrow gap. And it's narrower than it looks because the hitbox for the rocks on the right is a lot farther out than what the texture is there. If you don't believe me, go drive on it and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to do a burnout to get the back end to come around, but it just doesn't want to do it. So I'm going to very carefully back up. You can see I was just barely feathering the throttle. Just enough to move. I'm going to back up a little bit more. But remember, there's a ledge right behind me. like right behind me. That's way steeper back there than this camera angle lets on. Especially with sunset here. The shadow's not working in my advantage. But I'm trying to do a burnout and I just can't get the thing to come around for me so that I can get this right approach angle. Because if I can just get the angle right, it'll go right up and around this. But now it's spinning its wheels. Because again, just the textures and the hitboxes and the collisions don't always match up in this game. So I'm trying to back up just a little bit more, get lined up, but now it's kind of really stuck and dragging really bad. And that creates a problem now. If you know, like the MOC, the Avengers, stuff like that, if they get stuck long enough, they get relocated. So will the Terrorbyte off-road? No, you see in the top left-hand corner of the screen, why? And here in a second, it's just going to kick me right out of the vehicle. I didn't press Y or anything. It just kicked me out. Because it's going to vanish. Yay, it's gone. It went over to the other side of the map down by the Alamo Sea. You can still see it there on the mini-map in the bottom left corner. It's like the farthest thing on the lower left corner. So the bad news is, since I can't drive it up, I had to try to find an alternative means to get a damage descent. And you can guess by now, I probably didn't find that since I'm still talking and you're still just looking at my character standing on the side of a mountain like a retard. That's a horrible, hateful word. Like a dumbass. And, yeah, Cargo Bob wouldn't lift it, and you cannot place the Terrorbyte in a death match. So I couldn't use the death match that I usually use to just put one on the top of the mountain. So kind of a disappointing end for the Terrorbyte test. And here I was just being stupid. I thought, hey, I can parachute from here and go down to the Terrorbyte, and it didn't end well. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this Will It Off-Road. Don't forget to go vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in the next Will It Off-Road. I'm trying to actually find the Terrorbyte, and there it is. And until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.